Hey Earth signs, how are you? Welcome to your new moon check-in. We are going to use the Starseed Oracle for you, and then we're going to go into the Queen of the Moon Oracle and then the Rider-Waite just to clarify a little bit. With the Starseed Oracle, I just want to, something to think about, just like pull a card, like food for thought. It may or may not apply. Check your other placements and signs. Just something to think about. We'll pull a card for what we can release, what maybe is acting as like a blockage or resisting us a little bit right now, and then we'll pull a card for maybe something to focus our intentions on for the new moon in Pisces coming up tomorrow, or today, or whenever you're watching this. They're always timeless. You could be watching this at a time when it's not a new moon, and it could still apply. And then we'll clarify with the Rider-Waite for you. We want to thank Father God for bringing in these messages for us. Okay, that's fast. That's real fast. Aries had that. Seven Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression, Earth signs. This is for everyone. Seven Star Sisters, Feminine Energy. Something about your feminine energy is only being applied to certain aspects of your life. And I think it needs to be applied to all of the aspects of your life right now. When I was sitting in your energy, I was pulling in things like soggy roots, like root rot, like things like that. Like trying to grow in conditions that are kind of muddied or a little bit confusing for you. And there's a need for like more fun. There's a need for more fun, almost like things becoming too muddy, like hard to move through, needing to incorporate a little bit more like joy and dance and like serendipity, again, like movement, like breaking up some of that stuck energy for yourself, expression, right? So we're going to go Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So Taurus, you have Breath of the Cosmos, My Will to Thy Will, Micromanaging the Universe. Aries had this card as well. There's a very methodical energy coming off of you right now, Taurus. Is there like an aspect of you that's trying to like hyper calculate or very methodically like put things in place, right? If I schedule it this way, I want this. I want a love that's all my own. I want this kind of success. So if I do X, Y, and Z, then that'll come in. And then if it doesn't come in at the exact timing after you do X, Y, and Z, then you get really frustrated and you start yelling at God in the universe. Is there something like about that? It's almost like, I did my part. Like, why aren't you doing your part, universe? Like, what the hell is going on over here? It's a little bit like that. Because the thing is, she's kind of speaking her heart's desires. And even I feel like I'm like yelling. It's like, why are you yelling? It's like, why are you yelling so much? It's like, calm down. Like, so stop trying to micromanage. It's like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like, she's speaking them out, her desires, into the cosmos, but she's also allowing herself to be in like a flow state. She almost looks like she's like in utero a little bit, right? It's kind of like in the sac, in the fluid, allowing yourself to be more fluid and not so stuck, not allowing all this water energy that we have to kind of weigh you down and make you like a cement, but instead allowing it to kind of rise you to the top and like flow above it. Because there's this feeling of frustration. Again, like I healed and I planned and I organized and I did X, Y, and Z, and it's still not here. And now it's almost like bringing it's very Virgo energy. It's like bringing your receipts to God and to the angels, being like, but you said if I did this, then this would cut. But they're like, yeah, but we didn't say exactly when. Like, and it's also the idea of maybe feeling a little frustrated because maybe you're in a holding pattern or a resting period, but maybe you are right and you did, again, stop yelling. It's like the energy is so loud, that maybe you did do a lot of this groundwork that was asked of you to do. But maybe they are not trying to torture you in waiting or resting or keeping you in a holding pattern. Maybe it's to allow you to surrender and to relax and to recharge some of your batteries, because maybe now that you've done your part, they're going to come in and they're going to do the rest for you, and you're going to have these breakthroughs come in and you're going to be very, very busy and you won't have that time to rest. and to relax. And you're going to be very happy and grateful that you had put things into place for yourself and scheduled things and set them up. That's funny. That you're going to be very happy that you had done all of the groundwork that you did, and you're also going to be very happy that you allowed yourself time to rest and to recover from all of the work that you just did before you start all of the new work that's coming for you, and not to micromanage the universe and tell them that it's not coming in quick enough, that in actuality, what they recognize, and maybe you don't, is that you're going to be very busy and you're going to be very happy that you had this time to recharge your batteries because you're going to need them fully charged. Now, see how and I have to be super intentional right now that I'm speaking in a calm, normal toned voice, because I just want to shout and be really, really loud, and that's really easy for me because I'm from Jersey, but I'm no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to be so forceful. We could just, you know what I mean? Now, in your blockages section, things that you might need to release, is that you have fruition. Card number 37, which breaks down to a 10. 10 is that cycle completion. So again, it's the idea of keeping your eyes on the destination so strongly and forcefully that you're actually missing potentially some of the scenic view. It's the idea of taking the scenic route, and it takes you a little bit longer to get there, but there are sights and there's beauty and there's a sense of relaxation and rest that you get along that way. So the idea of kind of releasing that, when is it coming in? When is it happening? When is the beginning? When are these things coming to fruition? When are they coming to fruition? And it's interesting. But again, they're really trying to get you to relax because you have all of these fruits, all this abundance, all of this harvest, and it's sitting on top of your head you're the banana lady. When in actuality, you want to hold them with your hands, but you're keeping your hands so busy trying to turn the wheel of the car to get you to your destination faster, that you're not realizing that it could actually be blocking you. You actually could be slowing yourself down a little bit than what is necessary, that they're just trying to get you to take in the sights a little bit. Maybe they're trying to get you to take a moment and look at everything that you have done, how far you have already come before you go to where you're going next. Because sometimes we get on this wheel where we're always trying to get to the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing, and we never really get to appreciate and feel contentment with where we are, how far we've already come. And there's something about that that they don't want you to be on that rat wheel, right? And on that hamster wheel, that rat race of constantly on to the next, having a greater sense of appreciation and contentment and ease and gratitude for what you already have, the work you've already put in. And see, now all of a sudden I'm having indigestion, right? And I think there's something about, you might feel as though it's never enough. Nothing I'm doing is enough until I actually get the fruition of what I want. And that's not true, right? It's valuing yourself based on your productivity, if that makes any sense. And that might be a blockage for you. That might be something that you might want to consider needs to be released, right? Look at the internal completions before the external completions. Now, you had two cards that popped out, and interestingly enough, you have will and you have hunger coming out. Interesting. Part of this will card wants to be attached to this fruition, trying to force things into fruition by your will, right? When, again, there's almost there's a full, you might be an actual full moon cycle away. It might be, say, the next new moon coming in Aries season. That might be the one for you, and they really want you to take this and work through your own phases as well, your own emotional processes. There could be something in that. I just realized that. So 37 breaks down to a 10, right? And then 13, you got it backwards. 311, Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. In its time. Realizing what time and season that you're in, and not trying to micromanage that so much. Now, moving forward, oh, that's interesting. 29, that breaks down to an 11. 11 talks about alignment. So some of these new intentions you might want to be setting for yourself for this Pisces new moon is things having to do with alignment and hunger. What are you hungry for? The things that you want, and why do you want it? Wolf moon. And, you know, wolf as an animal totem, I have the animal totem series on my channel, talks a lot about kind of being a little bit of like a lone wolf. Being a little bit of a lone wolf. That part of this frustration is the idea that maybe there are a lot of things, people, places, and things you had to sacrifice, and it's the idea of wanting to get back to those things. When I have my breakthrough, I'll be able to get back to my family. I'll be able to start spending more time with my friends. I'll be able to have a greater sense of joy and levity and freedom. And it's the idea of maybe it's not when these breakthroughs happen, because maybe when these breakthroughs happen, you're going to be very busy. And so actually to take this downtime and use that to reconnect with some of the things that you previously had to sacrifice, even if it's just your social life, being able to relax, take a load off, do some you stuff, do some Taurus stuff, something like that. But a hunger, it's like what the things that we want. Why are we, you know, and it's very interesting because you're both in both of these cards kind of looking up and like expressing your will and your wants and your hungers into the cosmos. And so I think one of a positive intention you could be setting for the new moon is really refining your intentions about what you want and why you want it. Because sometimes we can just get into this I want to achieve, I want to achieve, I want to move forward, I want to move forward. That sometimes we don't even care what we are achieving and what we're moving forward to. And now seems to be a really good time to do that. And with this wolf, it is such an animalistic nature. Connecting basic instincts and basic needs to the desires that you already have, and that might be the thing that is triggering a little bit of your ego to come in, and like companionship, perhaps like love, perhaps like provision, right, in terms of career and stuff like that. But they could be directly connected to some of these basic instincts and not realizing that, not correlating the two, and being able to do so will help you refine them a little bit and have a pure intention. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. That's how it's coming through. Pull a couple clarifiers for you. Oh, don't shake the camera. Don't shake the camera, Taurus. Like, I see the moon. I'm gonna take these because it feels right. I see them. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take this too. So, the moon in reverse. So this is clarity with the devil attached. Now, the devil can be codependency, low vibrational energies, entity, actual devil energy. But because devil also represents Capricorn, which is Saturnian energy, it can also be overly disciplined. Having the clarity to realize that you've been overly disciplined, and also denying yourself certain things in pursuit of this fruition, and actually kind of chaining yourself up, binding yourself. So even in moments when God is trying to tell you to rest, to relax, to recharge, to, you know, spend a little time with your friends, maybe get out in nature, get out of your office, right? Get off the computer, go de-stress a little bit, ground yourself back down, right? That feeling as though, no, I'm not allowed to do it. But it's like, God just wrote you a hall pass. He just told you to go do it. He said that he's taking care of it. Like, just go do the other stuff right now, right? Connect back in with your humanity a little bit. Realizing that some of it might be because of the Three of Swords in reverse, which is old trauma. It's old pain and heartbreak and disappointment, right? Trying to work yourself physically through success and ambition out of old disappointments. And that actually is a wound. And that may be coming from this animalistic hunger. I want these things. I want these things, to try and patch up some kind of old heartbreak that wasn't fully addressed or healed. And that's why you're trying to will yourself into this new fruition. So that way you can be busy doing other stuff other than worrying about the old heartbreaks and the old disappointments of your past, and realizing that this time is actually time for you to reincorporate joy and healing and levity and fun back into your life. So that way, when you go through this moon cycle and these things start materializing into the natural for you, you can actually enjoy them, appreciate them, and not just be so quick to move on to the next thing. You don't want to get stuck on that rat wheel, hamster wheel, rat race. So, Virgo, Leo had this card. Cracked open, rocked bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. There's almost energy of like wet clothes. You know when you get caught in the rain, or you go to the beach or you go swimming and then you put your clothes on and you go home and then it's like your clothes get soggy? There's that kind of energy. The idea that like it feels like you've absorbed a lot of the emotions of other people, like took on a lot of energy from family, friends, the collective even. And needing to take some of that off and like dry yourself out and get back to like your own energy. Get back to your own energy. And there's this kind of like orb around you, Virgo, that something that might be mindful of you to do this new moon is start working on creating more of an energetic boundary, creating more of a sacred energy sphere around you, so that way you don't get so soggy from other people's emotions that they kind of unintentionally project outward. And I read for very gifted and intuitive people, so it's likely that you have a lot of empathic abilities, and whether you realize it or not, are unintentionally absorbing a lot of their excess energy, because you have the capacity to withstand it, but it's making your exterior a little bit soggy. So really needing to take that off and allow yourself to dry out back to your pure essence. But in the meantime, also this new moon, being very mindful of creating more of a energy sphere, a sacred energy sphere around you, creating energetic boundaries, so when other people's energy comes in, you don't automatically just like suck it up like a sponge. If that makes any sense, you don't just suck it up like a sponge. Like, you have the ability to decide whether or not to take it on, depending on your capacity to do so at that moment. So also being very much more aware of your emotional state at the time, because sometimes you're feeling good, you can take on everyone's energy in the room and it's absolutely no problem and you can squeeze it out. But if you're going through a particularly challenging or complex process yourself, it's not the time to really be taking on other people's energy to transmute it. And it doesn't make you a bad healer, it doesn't make you a bad empath. That's self-preservation, right? You can't help other people if you're only barely keeping your head above water yourself. And I think so often very gifted and intuitive very gifted and intuitive people can take on a lot of guilt and shame because of that. But sometimes you can just talk to people as, are you kidding me? Somebody doesn't like this message. Somebody does not like this message. It doesn't feel like it's coming from Virgo though. That feels very external. Sometimes you can just be like an ear for someone to listen to them, and you don't actually have to, in a psychic and energetic capacity, pull in their energy, right? They can sit with their own energy and they can bring it to God, they can give it to the angels, ground it into the earth, into Gaia, and do all of that. And you could just be a person and just listen to them with empathy, love, and compassion, and not actually absorb their energy if you are already dealing with a lot of your own complex processes, right? And that makes you just as empathetic and loving and compassionate as you were, while also being able to preserve your own energetic space for the processes that you're going through. Somebody did not like me to say that to you. That was not your energy. Beautiful. So, yes, thank you. So, something you might want to consider releasing, Virgo, or something that may or may not be creating a blockage for you, is action. See, it's like she's jumping to action. It's very like firefighter, hero complex kind of thing, right? And it's like 5 and 1 that breaks down to a 6. It's that reciprocation, feeling as though the best way you can reciprocate energy to other people or participate in them is almost going into that hero mode, that fireman sort of energy, and feel like you have to bust out and you have to absorb their energy, or you have to save the day, or you have to help them, or you have to constantly, it's like always be in motion, you know. And as I'm doing this, they're almost showing me like me in a pool, like doing like, what is it, like the butterfly? It's like the butterfly, right? And there's this 5 here, which talks about transformations and 1s being new beginning. If I go in there and I start doing all this stuff, then I'm going to be able to create change in them, and they're going to be able to have a new beginning. And they're going to, but it's like I'm like, I'm tired. And I just started exercising again, but I'm not that out of shape, right? It's like you're tiring yourself out, making yourself soggy again. Having other people kind of on your back when it's like you're barely kind of being able to float along yourself. That might be something that is a blockage for you. So if there's other aspects of your life where you feel like you're not really seeing a lot of the transformation for yourself, internally, emotionally, spiritually, externally, whatever it may be, it might be because you're trying to do too much of other people's work for them, not trusting that the God that loves and takes care of you will also love and take care of them as well, and then allowing that action to come back in for you as opposed to for other people. Again, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad empath. We all have gifts, skills, and abilities, but it doesn't mean they should all be used every single moment of the day for other people all the time. Most of the time, right? But at the same time, they're yours. You have to use them for yourself and for others, but some people don't get to learn self-sufficiency or the ability to enact their own gifts, skills, and abilities unless we give them the opportunity to do so. Now, you have another 5. A good intention to be setting for yourself this new moon, to be at least considering, is growth, a change in your own growth, kind of confirming exactly what I was saying, that when you're expelling so much of your energy towards other people, right, you're getting yourself soggy, weighing yourself down, too much in their essence and not enough in your own essence. And if you were kind of grounded and rooted in your own nest, you would see a much more exponential rate of growth for yourself. And so I think that investing more in yourself, working on your own development, spiritual and personal, this new moon, is very important. And I think it will serve you very well. And she has this little timepiece. I know it's very sunny. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry for the sun, but you know, she has this little timepiece in her hand too, realizing that like you're also on a clock, like you're also on divine timing, you're also on like a destined and fated schedule per se. And you could take some pit stops and you can help other people, absolutely, but it's like you still have things that you have to do and accomplish, and that requires you to grow and evolve as well. And there actually is something about actual grounding, like spending more time in nature to help pull out the excess energy of other people that you might not be able to expel on your own. That's coming in as well. So that just might be something that you might want to consider setting any new moon intentions for tonight, tomorrow, the next day, to recall some of your energy back to yourself and focus more on your own personal growth and development. We know that you're very helpful to other people, and it is such a beautiful and a wonderful thing, Virgo, especially because you get into like the details, you get in like those nooks and crannies, but don't forget that the God that loves you and takes care of you and guides you also will do it for them. 5 of Cups, beautiful. This is coming out of regret. This is coming out of remorse. This is coming out of sorrow, all of that kind of stuff. It's the idea of doing everything for everyone else all day and then coming home and being like, but my life's not together, but I'm lonely and I'm feeling a little sad and I still have some things that I need healing on, and I have some personal projects and things that I haven't really been able to focus on. And right, it's not having to say that. It's completely skipping that step and being like, you know what, I helped some people today. Hell yeah, I did. But also, my own house is in order too, right? Hangman in reverse is a clearer perspective. Upright, it's like feeling a little hung up, feeling a little stuck, a little stagnant, really needing to get that new perspective. This is getting it, right? I can be of best service to others when I'm being in service of myself. Because you have the High Priestess, the King of Swords, and the Ace of Wands all in reverse, right? I realize that I disconnect from my intuition, I cloud my own ability to make logical decisions, and I dampen down my own energy when I'm not doing that, when I'm not making sure that I'm taken care of first. But 5 of Swords in reverse, when I release the mental battle, because again, there is an energy of like feeling guilty, like for doing that, but you shouldn't, because I realized that when I cut out those mental battles with myself, I am able to refill my own cup, which then when it overflows, I'm then able to pour into others, right? Beautiful. Capricorn. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. There's the idea of like this assembly line, feeling like you're waiting in line, feeling a little bit perhaps forgotten about, Cappy. You see how there's a person over here, there's a person over here, then there's like, it feels like you are all the way in the back of the line, and everyone else, it's like the sun is shining on them, but you're kind of like stuck in the shade. You're feeling a little bit stuck in the shade right now. It's the idea of like, I did everything else that everyone else did. I put in the same amount of work. Like, when is it going to be my time to get to the front of the line? When is it going to be my time to get in the front of the line? And it's like, while I'm waiting, I still feel like I'm in the shade. Maybe I feel like people are actually shading you, or like you're in the shadows, like you're not seen. Almost like the idea that people can't see you when you could be even like cut in line. Someone could not even see you in this shadow and kind of just cut right in front of you as well. There's a bit of a competitive edge there. A little bit. It doesn't feel like you want to prove that you're better than anyone else, Capricorn. It feels like you just want to prove that you're just as good. You want to prove that you're just as good as everyone else. And because there's all this Pisces energy, which talks about dreams and it's these things that you've been fantasizing about for yourself. And I don't even think it's to be better or higher or bigger than anyone else. It's to be just as much. To be just as much as everyone else, to get the same seat at the table. Also feeling like your efforts, hello? Oh my God, stop it. Not feeling as though your efforts, earth signs, we were good all the way through. Not feeling as though your efforts were like fully recognized. Your efforts aren't fully recognized. Okay, so in your potential blockages, things that might need to be released for you. Interesting. That's interesting. You have card number 32. That breaks down to a 5. You have trust. Now, what does that mean? Trust is a blockage for you? Not so much. There's something about a boundary here that you might not actually be trusting the process. And so you're kind of putting yourself in a little bit of a bubble. It almost feels, I'm seeing like the bear totem, putting yourself in like a little bit of a cave kind of energy. A little bit like that. There's a feeling that you don't feel, because you don't feel as though you are just as able, capable, deserving, or worthy as everyone else. It's the idea of actually not speaking up enough. Like for Taurus, I was trying to get quiet, but for you, I'm actually trying to get louder. It's the idea that you're not speaking up enough, kind of putting yourself in this hiding bubble underneath this nest, just like hoping God's gonna come in and he's gonna put you at the front of the line. And like you will get there, but there's also something about like speaking up for yourself and self-advocating and being like, no, like I don't need to be at the front of the line. I could be at the back of the line and I still know that like I deserve a seat at that table. I know the work that I put in. I know the kind of person I am. I know what I did. Maybe these people don't, but I do. So I'm going to change the way I put my trust, right? I'm going to trust in the timing. My timing's not running out. My time's just begun, right? So there is something about that might have actually been a blockage for you, is the fact that you haven't trusted you enough to not scrunch yourself up. Maybe the reason you're in the shade is that you're scrunching yourself up too small and you need to take a step forward into the sunlight and be like, I'm here. I showed up for attendance. Hello. Capricorn's here, right? It's something like that. Again, something about allow yourself to be seen. Don't force yourself on other people to make them see you, but just put yourself out there enough, take enough of a step forward into the sun, right, that you can allow yourself to be seen by other people. Because one of the intentions moving forward for you is card number 35, change. Change, pushing against this big egg, which is interesting because over here, not trusting the timing, and not trusting other people to recognize you, but also not trusting yourself or trusting that you're worthy enough to step forward into the light. It's called the egg moon, and here you're pushing against the egg. So moving forward, an intention that might be helpful for you is to push against the grain a little bit. Push against the grain. Capricorns, you like things really orderly. There's like no such thing as like a Capricorn who's like a rebel without a cause. Like there's always a cause, right? There's the idea of pushing against the grain a little bit. Set the visual intentions on change, on movement, on that. Don't focus so much on the fact that you feel behind or that you feel unacknowledged. Visualize yourself. First of all, you have to recognize that there's already a change happening in you. There's already a stirring. There's already a stirring up. Otherwise, these things wouldn't bother you so much. And that is really just your higher self telling you to acknowledge yourself. Because once you acknowledge, recognize, and respect yourself for how far you've come and the changes you've already made, you'll step forward into that light. And you know that real confidence is quiet. You won't have to say anything, but just allowing yourself to be seen for who you are and what you do. That's when is that a B? Guys, it's a B. That's such great news for us. That's such a good omen. My phone's gonna die. Focus. But yeah, push against the grain a little bit, because your ego will try and make you big, but your ego will try and make you small too. So that might be something that you might want to focus on for this new moon, setting that kind of intention to feel more proud of yourself. A healthy sense of confidence needs to be, you know what I mean? Because Capricorns, you really gather a lot of your confidence based off of your productivity, right? Those kind of qualifiers of success that society puts on you, but needing to recognize yourself as successful. And when you do that, just internally for who you are, for what you've done, overcome, how you've evolved and changed. Whoa. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. How you've grown and evolved and changed. You won't feel so shy or feel at the back of the line. You're gonna trust that timing a lot more than you do right now. Queen of Pentacles. This is all about self-nurturing. This is all about being an independent spirit. And Capricorn is a corporate kind of energy. But this is you being a Fleetwood Mac song and going a little bit your own way and recognizing that that's okay and really nurturing those aspects of you, those more independent aspects of you. Three of Pentacles. Working on it, right? Maybe you're not playing to a big crowd, but the people that are meant to see the work that you're doing internally and externally, they will come and notice you. Right? But either way, even if they come, you're still doing your own independent work. You're still doing your own projects. Again, it's this independent spirit. Queen of Wands in reverse. It's something that, again, you like to have like a whole village behind you, but sometimes the village gets built a villager at a time. Sometimes you're the first one to get there and plant the flag, and that seems to be what's happening, and that's okay. So don't feel unconfident because of that. Actually take a greater sense of confidence and pride in the fact that you're doing something new. God's doing a new thing in you, and you guys are collectively together doing a new thing in the world, and that's really beautiful. And the people that are meant to come, they'll come and they'll see it, right? But it comes from you nurturing those aspects of yourself, shaking the table a little bit. And with the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, right? This is community. It's emotional fulfillment all across the board. Friends, families, community, lovers, everyone involved. With Justice underneath that, it's the balance. And the Hierophant underneath that, God is going to bring in this justice for you and all of the emotional fulfillment, but you are not a corporate Capricorn anymore. You're a kingdom Capricorn. It's different. So just hold on tight. You're going to be all right. It's going to be fine. But it has to come internally. And remember, if God qualifies you, no one can disqualify you. There isn't a appointed time for everything. So just hang on, keep working, wait it out. We had a B omen. That's awesome. They're banging on stuff. So I think that's good. And set your intentions on that, on visualizing the changes that you want to see and keep working towards them steadily and consistently, which you never have a problem doing, but not worrying so much about comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy, you know? So thank you, Earth signs, very much. If you guys made it through all of the elements, I am so proud of you. It is good to be back. I very much hope that you guys enjoyed this new moon check-in. I hope that it was helpful to you. I love you guys so much. And I will see you very soon. As always, stay prayed up, and you stay blessed, and you stay sweet, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.